In this video, I am going to talk about 3 things I would like to have known when I was 25 years old today. So stick around. Welcome to this new video. My name is Fabi and I have been in the financial industry for almost 15 years. And today I wanted to talk to you about basically 3 things that I wished probably I knew 10 years ago. Let's say maybe 15, maybe 12, depends on your age. But let's say if I was 25 years old today, what would be things that I knew? And having said that, when I was 25 years old, I was actually probably a bit above the curve in my career because I was working for 5 years already. But that's probably not the normal case in many aspects of someone's life. If it is, well, I think you're above the curve in terms of the learning curve as well. So one thing that really was difficult for me to understand was really patience. And what does that mean? That means that it took me 5 years to get into maybe a leadership position. And when I say leadership, it's like I took on a department. So it was only actually 5 years afterwards that I was able to basically have the skills and the knowledge to lead a specific department. In that case was the front office. And it was a real challenge for me. I mean, it was circumstances that happened. It was just because I was the next best choice in that sense. And it was really a lot of hard work and a lot of patience. So we being young, we tend to have this feeling that we want things now and we need it now, because if it's later, it's going to be the end of the world kind of thing, and we need it now. So I'll give you a backstory. I just switched to iPhone. I was for pretty much my whole youth a Android user. I've never thought of getting an iPhone, and it was only now. But given the fact that it took me maybe 2 years to make the decision, I think. I contemplated and I said, okay, well, maybe it's the time to go around, but it took me 2 years. And if I didn't kind of ponder that decision, because then again, an iPhone is not cheap, you can get quite inexpensive Android phones. Nevertheless, I always had the Samsung, not the latest version, but something that allowed me to do the work that I needed to do in multitasking and so forth. But if I had waited only a month or two, and maybe not taking the opportunity of maybe a discount or maybe certain things in my life that would give me the guidance that it was actually the right decision of purchasing or moving from this Android Windows environment into an Apple environment, probably things would have been more stressful in my life, because it would be a decision off the cuff. It would not be a thoughtful decision, and in the end, it would be just buying things that I probably wouldn't need at the time. And so this ponderous decision of me purchasing and now moving from a phone, a tablet, MacBook, and so forth, it was a decision that took me 2 years, as I said. And so when it comes back to professionally, because you need to acquire these skills, it takes time. So you just need to understand that if you create value as a person in your job, whether you stay with a company that you just been to or you go to another company, in my case, I stayed for a long time, still with the same company I joined in 2008. Just a matter of time that you will get that leap of income, that leap of status, that leap of new job role and responsibilities. And so, in the end of the day, just be patient and believe and invest in those skills. Now, in terms of skills, that's my second point, is you need to also invest in low entry skills. And what did I mean with that? It's basically, it's like you don't need a lot of money to get those skills. You can acquire them by practice, by sure you can invest a little bit, but you don't need, let's say if you want to become a trader or an investment manager, you need to probably learn a lot in terms of how investments works. Probably need a big degree, a CFA, become kind of an investment advisor, manager, and have an MBA, and then a whole spectrum of how financial market works or capital markets work. So low barrier skills could be from communication, could be from sales, could be from marketing, could be from technology wise, could be from just man management, which have a really big progression. And what I done was understanding sales. And that's actually how most of my success came, because I was able to basically start from one client, and after 3 months of me starting as an intern and then from there becoming a full-time employee, I was able to close my first deal. And that client itself wanted to invest 100,000 euros. And I actually never met the client. I've spoken to him on the phone, but mostly was emails. And it was just understanding what the clients need, what the client wants, what the client wants to access, or how can you actually resolve that problem for the client. And that's through the services that the company you're part of provides. So that is a very much scalable skill in that sense of using sales. You can use marketing, you can use copywriting, you can use web designing. It's all scalable skills that, as with volume, you can develop it into a better retention in terms of an asset that you have, that you provide. And so, unless you're a doctor, or unless you're, let's say, an engineer, and even if you're a doctor and engineer, like, you need to do the volume. You need to understand how to speak to people. You need to understand how to interact, how to sell. Because there could be a doctor, right, or an engineer, right, a financial engineer that knows how to maybe program this beautiful model of investment, but then can't speak to people. I can't like sell, it's like, oh, I've got this thing, right? This bottle that is amazing, but man, I can't sell it because I don't know how to speak to people. How am I going to sell this? How? So the same goes with just having this small communication skills, sales skills, marketing skills that will leap into your success in your start of your profession. So that's one. Pick one or two. That's what my suggestion is. I picked two. And from there, you are able to really build that up as time goes on, and you just have to keep investing and investing and investing. Third thing I should have done, and I didn't do. A lot of people tell you to create an emergency fund. And I believe in that because I went through a phase that, again, I was young. It was about 22, 23, I think. We had interns, French interns. That was when I was in Gibraltar. When you're young, you like to go out, you like to have a good meal, you like to just have a good time. My costs were just like fuel, food. That's it. I didn't pay accommodation costs. I just had to pay food, basically. No utilities, no water, electricity, gas, whatever. Just like I had to pay my costs to go to work and to live. That's it. Didn't even have to pay any home loans and everything or rental because it was being paid by the company. So what happened one month was that I spent so much money that I had to borrow money. I think it was maybe 150 euros, maybe 200 euros from an intern. And when this happened, I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? It's like, what am I doing here? It's like, this is crazy. And I still remember it was 1 week that was summer, and we end up going out almost every night. And these guys, they were amazing because they're like playing poker, they're making money on the casinos in either Spain or Gibraltar, I think. It was amazing. They were making so much because of their skills. Again, they had the skill in knowing how to play the poker game. And so they were making extra income, plus they're probably getting something from, in this case, from parents or from maybe the French government as allowances as part of being students. I didn't have that. I just had like my salary. There was nothing else. And so they're actually having a really good life, plus playing poker and getting extra income. So they had the money I didn't have. So I was trying to live the way that I couldn't afford. So this is where I should have, first of all, like live more live more frugal, and set up a 3 to 6 months emergency fund. I would say it would take me quite a while, but for sure 3 months of emergencies in case something would happen, meaning I could lose a job. But yet, me personally, I was just like, yeah, let's just like live today. Forget about tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't matter, man. I'm 22 years old. I'm 23. Whatever. It's like, yeah, the money will come. It's okay. Whereas if I just save some money and use that money for something else, specifically for like if tomorrow there's no more job, touch wood, right? I had nothing. I would go back to my parents. It's like, oh, okay, so I don't have any more money. I'm gonna move in back to my parents, and it's like I had an actual job where I should have been more, for sure, responsible, and I didn't. And so the concept of having a 3 to 6 months emergency fund is simply so that if something happens, you have money. You can at least live off that if you need to. And if you don't, great, just put it in a savings account. You're probably going to still earn some interest out of it, or you can just invest it in some sort of low risk fund that you can just retract if you needed to. So as long as it's low risk and you're able to access it, why not? So this is the 3 things that I wanted to share with you. So first of all, be patient, invest in low entry barrier skills like sales, marketing. I mean, there's so many of things that I think you should consider looking at yourself and saying, what am I missing here that helps my life professionally? And third thing is, I think, an emergency fund, 3 months minimum, would be a real good thing to have in your life, because that if something happens, even if there's a really big cost, like, I don't know, you have to have a medical intervention, like operation or whatever, you have that money. And so this is what I wanted to share. This is I think probably a few other things that I could add, but these are probably the 3 things that would have stand out in my life when I was young, 22, 25 years old, and surely the mistakes would have been a lot less, and I would have a much better life today if I at least taken out some of my risk in my life. Let me know what you think would be some of the free things that you could probably do that in the next 10 years make a difference. And so, and all this because there is a famous quote that we underestimate what we can do in 10 years, but we overestimate what we can do in 1 year. And I'll leave you with that. So, thanks again for watching. I will see you soon. And just don't forget to comment below and let me know if you have any questions. Bye for now.